So still people are entering. Hello. Karina, if you want, you can start welcoming now.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much, Anna. Well, good morning, everyone. Really happy to see you all on board for this third GEAR SME webinar. As you probably know, GEAR SME is a Horizon 2020 project, which we started in September. Yeah, we started in September a couple of years ago, and we will be ending the project in April this year. And for this third webinar, we would like to present to you the tools and training materials that we have developed and how we have used them in the different use cases. We have 4 use cases: one in Romania, one in Germany, one in the Netherlands, and one in Italy. And so for today, we have 4 speakers. We have Ingrid Nyström from CIT Energy in Sweden. She will speak about the GEAR SME methodology and training and tools. Then we have Jeroen Bosma. Unfortunately, he is sick today, so I will be taking over his presentation, telling a little bit about the experiences using the training in the Dutch use case. Then we have Timea Farkas from Servelect in Romania, who will say a little bit about her experience engaging with the supply side actors in the Romanian use case. And finally, we have Mattia Ricci from Enea in Italy, and he will say a little bit about the experience using energy scans in the Italian use case. And then we have a few minutes, hopefully, for questions and answers. But before starting, we'd like to do a very small poll. Anna, if you could maybe set that up. We're very curious to know which countries you are coming from. So if you could maybe just spend a few minutes or a few seconds to put your answers into this poll, and so that we could see, that would be great. Now let me know, Anna, when we're ready to...
Yes, it's still moving a bit. And okay, now we closed the poll.
Okay, so we are, quite a few people from Romania, but also from Sweden, Italy, and Germany. Very nice, very nice. Yeah. Okay, then I think we just jump into the first presentation, and Ingrid, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I will share my screen. So I hope you see the presentation now and hear me.
Yes.
So I will hold a short introduction to this webinar. That is, I will give a very brief overview of the GEAR at SME methodology, the training, and the tools. This is quite a massive, all the material for it is quite a lot, so it will be really brief, but you will still get an overview. But first, I will say, it's not changing. Yeah. First, I just want to say that the background, of course, for this project and for a lot of the different just a moment, I will need to. So, and a lot of these different type of projects or so is of course the climate change, but also many other challenges that society is facing, like create jobs and growth, and also to reduce external energy dependency and increase the self-sufficiency in different ways, this energy security aspects. And these are also the challenges that the SMEs are facing. So, and contributing to increased energy efficiency and higher shares of renewable energy is one way of addressing this. And since this slide was created, we also had these soaring energy prices, an energy crisis, and the introduction also from the EU of the new Repower EU plan, which makes all this work even more relevant and important. So this is, I mean, the background for all of these Horizon 2020 projects within energy. In this project, we focus on the SMEs and how to support them in getting more energy efficient and better energy system in general. But we also focus specifically then on local clusters of SMEs. So it's how to work and support areas like business parks, industrial areas, or SMEs in a small municipality. And we do that then from a collective approach. And the reason for that is that we see, well, at least double potential from saving energy together. Firstly, a lot of other projects show that energy efficiency networks working together and sharing experience in general have been shown to double the implementation of identified energy efficiency measures. But secondly, by creating these networks and this collaboration in a local context means that you can also identify additional synergies through, for instance, local heat exchange or sharing or co-financing solar power installations. But for SMEs then to work with energy efficiency in a cluster like this, they need, of course, support. And this is where the GEAR at SME methodology introduces then the trusted partner. The trusted partner, the green in this picture, is then someone that the SMEs have trust in, and it can be a business park manager, a local business association, maybe representatives from the municipality, but people that have an organization or a person or that have an interest in supporting the SMEs, but not necessarily that they have been working with energy efficiency and sustainability so much before. And what we want to do is then to strengthen their role to focus also on these aspects. And to do that, they need a network of energy service suppliers, energy expertise of different kinds. And with financing, they need a strong local network in that, on the other side, on the yellow side. So the trusted partner is like an intermediary between the cluster of the SMEs and the energy service suppliers and other stakeholders. So they are really a key actor, stakeholder for this model that we are working with. But often they may not have that much experience and knowledge about the energy area, and also maybe not the time and resources in other ways. So therefore, they in turn also need support. And this is why we also in this organization, in this model, have introduced the multiplier organizations. Those are broader, more national or regional or broader organizations that have interest in supporting SMEs in general, or specifically in the energy area, and have therefore an interest in helping trusted partners to create and run these local energy collectives. These multiplier organizations can be federations for industrial business parks, branch associations, or public authorities or so. And they have then the role to disseminate, scale up this experience and spread it to other areas or other clusters. But also they have really an important role in supporting the trusted partners long term. And this role of multiplier organizations, they were recognized from start, so they have been involved in the program. But we also see that their role is maybe even more important than we've thought. So this is one of the findings, that this support from the multiplier organizations is very important. And to be able to provide this support longer term, they then in turn need materials and things like trainings for the trusted partners, tools that are available, maybe an interaction to support with exchanging experience between trusted partners and so on. And therefore, in the next step, then we have then developed this kind of support material so that both multiplier organizations, trusted partners, and other involved stakeholders can utilize to implement this methodology, this approach, and work with the local clusters of SMEs long term. And we have then collected or gathered all these material on an online portal where we have handbook guidelines, which under the Explore section, we have inspiring practices across Europe, and we have a community platform for interaction. But what I and the rest of the webinar will focus on is now then the implement section, where we have gathered training material, tools, and best practices. And the trainings are primarily to be used by multiplier organizations within the program or within the project. They have been used by then the different partners involved in the project. But to support trusted partners or energy service supply in their role then, in the trusted partners in their role to develop these, well, more or less collective approach. But they can also be used, of course, to spread the approach or information about it to new SME clusters. Of course, the trainings are primarily focusing on disseminating knowledge. And we have therefore trainings on how to establish a collective, the principles and the approach to do that. We have trainings on planning and implementing collective energy projects. That is then the type of heat sharing or projects that if several SMEs go together and really implement together. And we have also trainings on multiple benefits and how to incorporate that in the evaluation of different types of projects. We also see that it is really important for trainings to be adapted to the situation. So therefore the material is completely open to download and to incorporate and combine with other material. But in addition then, from knowledge, these trainings also provide that you meet together and you have a discussion about different areas, both a possibility to inspire participants, but also to foster interaction and exchange of experience during the trainings. As I said, you have all these training modules. So just to give one little bit of input to the a little bit more detail on the actual methodology and what we talk about when we talk about a collective approach. I have one slide which also is then based on material that is available in the trainings. And here, what we do when we support SMEs in a collective approach can be very different depending on the situation. It can consist of networking and knowledge building, also collecting data from the SMEs, but providing seminars, etc. But also like energy scans and that type of thing. It can be coordinated support to the SMEs that since many SMEs are facing similar challenges, that you can coordinate the support, even if it is directed to their individual measures or so. And it can be that you plan and implement collective energy projects together. Finally, it is also including internal, of course, within this cluster communication to learn from each other, but also externally to show a good example and have benefits for the SMEs from that. And then all these activities and services that you are working with need to be adapted to the local situation, to the SMEs in the specific cluster, depending on their needs, on their areas of interest, where in one area you might focus on mobility solutions and in another on heat exchange, or also on financing challenges. And also that the SMEs may have different drivers on why they want to work with this. When then, in the next step, when the trusted partners are working in these clusters and actually need to provide this support, trusted partners or energy service suppliers, and the whole network around the cluster to provide this support, they can need also other type of support materials. And then it is when the tools and best practices come in. You may need tools then for evaluating actual measures or for finding and identifying them. So in this situation, we're talking about concrete like calculation tools, templates, etc. for energy scans and assessments, for monitoring the results, or for evaluate the actual potential measures. And there we also have including multiple benefits, of course, in those evaluation tools. The tools provided are both tools that have been developed by others earlier, that we provide links and guidelines for, because they found very useful and relevant. But there's also tools that we have developed specifically for this project, since we have identified gaps and missing. And as the trainings, use of these tools in a collective approach, both provide the actual data and the facts and figures, but also a basis for exchange of experience and interaction within the cluster. Finally, we also, and that is the same, we also have the best practices, which is like a database for potential energy efficiency measures and renewable energy measures, and we include both technological and more organizational measures, which also is available then on this platform. And to summarize, all these tools and trainings and the material, they are play a key role for the GEAR at SME, for the collective approach that we have described and that we have tested. And they can be used to support the work of both the multiplier organizations and the trusted partners, as well as the other stakeholders in this, like energy service suppliers and other partners. The trainings are primarily directed to strengthen the capacity of the trusted partners and others stakeholders there in those local networks in their role in supporting then the SMEs. But then we have the more practically oriented tools and best practices to guide the actual implementation. And before leaving the floor to my colleagues, I will once again want to stress that all that material, in addition to contributing with knowledge, facts, figures, data, etc., it also can be used as tools for inspiration and motivation, as not the least, for the SMEs and for the what we're really striving for to increase energy efficiency and sustainability, and also to spur interaction between the SMEs in those clusters. So, thank you. And then I think it is, it will then be, I will stop sharing my screen, and I am not entirely sure which of the use cases are next, but thank you very much.
Karina, please unmute you. We don't hear you, Karina.
We could also take it in another order, maybe, so that if
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm really sorry. My my laptop and equipment today is not cooperating very well with me. Thank you very much, Ingrid, for your presentation. I don't know, Anna, are there any urgent questions in the chat, or can we just continue to the next one? Okay, very good. Then I think with the sort of the GEAR SME concept and the training tools explained in general from by Ingrid, I think now we will go on to do a presentation on the experiences using training materials in the Dutch use case. Now this presentation was meant to be given by Jeroen Bosma from the Clock Foundation in the Netherlands, but unfortunately he has come down with COVID, and I will do the presentation on his behalf. So I'm just going to see if I can find the right presentation and then share my screen. Anna, can you confirm that I'm sharing?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, very good. Thanks a lot. Okay, so the Clock Foundation is a multiplier organization in the project, and Jeroen was one of the trainers. And the aim of this presentation really is to give you an idea about, yeah, how that training was received, how effective it was, and also that how it will be accessible after the end of the project. Trying to change my slide. Yeah, all right. So basically there were two trainings given. And one was on the multiple benefits, which is split into two parts. And the second one was on collective energy projects. And in the context of the Dutch use case, it was examined how the trusted partner can best be supported to encourage SMEs to save energy. And based on that, this is how the selection of the training courses were done and made so that they were relevant for the target group. The first training was on the multiple benefits, and there we saw that that there was persuasiveness was often necessary to implement energy saving measures, to basically really to have a better understanding of what are the multiple benefits, and to showcase how that could increase the attractiveness and importance in terms of investing in energy measures in companies. There were several examples shown on how this could be made more attractive. In the second training, which was on the collective energy projects, the training covers the benefits of doing energy projects in a collective manner, how to organize them, and how to pay attention to the different interests and goals of the different stakeholders. Let me see. I need to. Yeah. You can just be patient for 1 second so that I can get my mouse onto the right screen, and then change the. Yeah. All right. So the good news is that the training was really well received. For the multiple benefits training, there were approximately 8 people present, and for the collective energy projects training, there were 26. And the trainings really fitted well with the questions that the parties were facing at the time. And both trainings were introductory trainings on the subject, and the questions for the follow-up was asked by several participants at both of the trainings. Then we go on to the next slide. I mentioned that the training was effective, but that's because we offered it through the trusted partner in the network that Flock Foundation has, and the people know the target groups and know how to bring the training to the attention of the right people. The training was offered free of charge. There were no obstacles to participate, and there was the option to register through a public link. The training was co-developed with and by people who work on and with companies on business parks on a daily basis. And as a result, the training matched the demand very well to the needs. And in addition, existing structures were used. This means that the training was offered via an existing platform to which the target group is already connected. And the existing network of trusted partners has also been used to draw attention to the training. And then I'm going to move on to the next slide. Yeah. To promote the training, Jeroen used the existing network, which is the Regional Economy Knowledge Network in the Netherlands. This is a platform where the regional, private and public parties exchange knowledge with each other. And that's how this platform was used to make to bring to the attention of the parties the training opportunities that were done within the GEAR SME project. The platform is a collaboration between Platform 31 and the Clock Foundation, and to ensure that, among others, the training courses, but also other tools remain available after the project has ended, which will be in April. Cooperation is being sought with the sustainability program for business parks in the Netherlands. So they will basically take the tools and training materials that we have developed within the GEAR SME project that they find relevant and very interesting for their target groups will be made available on the website of the in Dutch it's called Programma Verduurzaming Bedrijfsterrein Nederlands. It just means the program for sustainable business parks in the Netherlands. And I think maybe he had one last slide. Yes, he did. And yeah, he says in his slide here that he wants to highlight 4 important lessons that were learned. Firstly, it's important to work with a trusted partner. They know the target group, they know how to reach them, and also understand what their needs are. Secondly, it's important to further develop the training. And I think Ingrid also mentioned that a little bit, that it's available there, and you can alter it, adjust it to match your own needs. And then let me see. Secondly, he says here that the current material can be overtaken by current events. So during the project, energy prices have increased enormously, and this has done something to the needs to save energy. And he says also it's important to link up with existing programs, which is the case in the Netherlands. And yeah, lastly, the sharing of knowledge between project partners is key. Learning from each other, looking at what other SMEs are doing. And a collective approach is what is needed and wanted, but it takes time. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think with that, yeah, that was his last message. Yeah. So I think with that, I will stop sharing my screen, and we can move on to the next presenter, which will be Timea Farkas, and she will talk a little bit about the experiences within the Romanian use case in engaging with supply side actors.
Thank you. If you are closing the sharing screen, then I can share.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, please confirm if you can see full screen my presentation.
Yes, we see it good.
Good, thank you very much. Hello everyone, my name is Timea Farkas, and today I'm going to present you some of our experiences in Romania, how we implemented the tools and trainings within the Romanian use case, and how we attract a wide range of supply side through these trainings and tools. So just a little bit of context to understand our use case and our context. We operated 2 use cases in Romania. Both of them are industrial parks, and they are located in the west part of Romania. And besides Servelect, an energy service company which is partnering the project, we also have on board the Technical University of Cluj-Napoca in the role of the multiplier organization. So we see that besides trusted partners, we have also multiplier organizations involved who has an important role in engaging not only trusted partners, but also the supply side. So basically, we embedded the GEAR SME methodology into our use case, using, of course, the trainings and the tools in order to amplify all the activities that we proposed. Which were these activities? Mostly, we encouraged the trusted partners to engage SMEs into energy scans, because the context and after the COVID situation and before the huge energy crisis, there was still a need for these energy scans and simple energy efficiency plans for SMEs in order to know which are the best measures to be implemented. Then we focus also on training, and especially on the supply side, and I will detail a bit later on about this. Workshops, national workshops, in order to attract a wide pool of stakeholders, which was also key in the Romanian use case, and we had a great success in this one. As I said, the stakeholders, the engagement of the stakeholders was one of the key of the use case, because we wanted to exploit, besides the two trusted partners, we wanted to explore further the approach of GEAR at SME and to disseminate as much as we can to different actors. So one of the main stakeholder group that we targeted on was the Romanian Society of Energy Auditors and Energy Managers, which are representing the supply side, of course. And there is also association which is dedicated for different industrial, technological, and scientific parks, which are all potential trusted partners in our case. Besides that, we focused to attract also and to get on board the Minister of Energy, who represents the policymaker in our country, and which role is important in terms of introducing new financing schemes for these actors. And besides this, we targeted other energy service suppliers and also fund operators who can fund different collective energy projects. The main context that we targeted on for engaging the supply side in implementing trainings and tools was the national context and the legal basis of becoming an energy auditor or an energy manager in Romania, which of course needs to be certified. And for this certification and then for this extension of the certification, people who want to become energy auditors and energy managers needs to do different trainings, seminars, and to participate into this kind of seminars and workshops in the energy or energy efficiency field in order to have this certification and in order to provide targeted services. So we take advantage of this context and try to embed, especially the trainings, the GEAR at SME training. Therefore, we managed to deliver through training, one of them focusing on the multiple benefits, which was very welcomed for the supply side, because it's important to present to the top management what is really the impact of the energy efficiency measures of the energy auditors and so on. So it's important to teach them how to present and to present more attractively these measures. And the other topic that we targeted was the energy collective, because after the EU is implementing the energy communities legislation framework, shortly Romania is also adapting this framework, and energy collectives becomes and energy communities becomes a hot topic and important to understand also in the framework of prosumers. So we targeted these two topics, which were very successful. We managed to train more than 60 people from different energy service suppliers. And we also managed to do face-to-face trainings, which had a great impact because different discussions and debates were made, which was quite useful. And we also get a realistic feedback about our trainings. Besides this, these trainings were also supported by the Minister of Energy, which is a great support. And also there is a center called the Training Center for Industry Personnel, who is in charge with the certification. So they were both on board for organizing these trainings and to, of course, disseminate to the right people. Besides the trainings, we had the tools that we quietly disseminate to the targeted groups. And of course, besides the energy crisis and the newly introduced energy efficiency services, these kind of tools are very welcomed along the energy service suppliers, because services can be improved using these tools, and also they can provide further to those that are really using it, such as SMEs and trusted partners. So there wasn't quite a need for these tools. And one of the main advantages represented the fact that we translated these tools. So this was also a good feedback received, that we have tools in Romanian and which can be further used by these actors. And also, even though we did not focus really on testing, we rather focus more on dissemination and to spread the word about this training materials, which are and tools which are all free available in the GEAR SME portal. And as also Ingrid mentioned, some of the tools were taken from different projects, and they were also adapted, some of them. So it was good to have these synergies with other Horizon projects in which some of the partners are involved, and to create these synergies with other projects that are in the energy efficiency field. And one of the last steps that we are currently implementing is the exploitation of the trainings and the materials and the tools, because the project is ending, and we would like to keep alive all the materials that we have done in this 2.5 years. So one of the main exploitation path is to introduce in the university curriculum. As I mentioned, the Technical University of Cluj-Napoca, it is a partner in the project, and it has a great role in the Romanian use case as a multiplier organization, and they will have also an important role in the exploitation, because there is a huge potential in introducing the different materials in the curriculum for students, the future energy professionals, because we are having different specialization, targeted energy efficiency, renewable energies, energy transition, and so on. So we have a potential of more than 2,000 students per year who can exploit this material. Besides this, we have dedicated courses, accredited courses to energy managers for urban communities. These are people that are working for the cities, for energy communities and so on, and they also have to be certified. So it's a great potential to introduce the collective approaches, collective energy projects in these courses, and to further exploit them. And the last one, of course, as I mentioned, the energy professionals who needs to participate and needs to have targeted trainings in order to certificate and to keep up to date with the most of the new things in the field. So as we see in the Romanian context, we focused on engaging stakeholders, the right stakeholders, which can help us in implementing the activities and also to exploit further our materials. And we embedded the trainings in the national context, and we use the national context as a fuel for our training. And we also really targeted the dissemination of the different tools, the portal, and so on, because people need to know the information, need to know the sources. So the dissemination was key. And last one, we also really focused on exploitation further. So we don't want to just close the project and that's it. We want to keep the materials and tools alive in our context. So that was my presentation, and I'm really happy to hear questions at the end of the other presentations as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Timea, for your presentation on the Romanian context. I think in view of time, we will just speed on and go to the final presentation, which will be given by Mattia Ricci, and he will talk about experiences using energy scans in the Italian use case. So the floor is yours, Mattia.
Thank you, Karina. I'm sharing my screen right now. Sorry. One moment, please.
Looks good.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mattia Ricci, and I'm a researcher at ENEA, that is the Italian National Agency for the Technology energy and sustainable economical development. Today I'm going to give you a presentation regarding the experiences we had using a tool for energy scans in the Italian use case. Well, the Italian use case is located in the Rovere Business Park, which is in the northeast of the city of Bologna. The Rovere Business Park is an area of about 2 square kilometers with about 700 SMEs, and so it has a great potential for implementing the energy collective approach. In this area, basically, we understood that the common ambition of SMEs are, first of all, a concrete need to reduce energy costs. That is the main point, the main objective they told us during energy scans. And then they really want to improve the overall economic performances in order to also increase their competitiveness in the market. A willingness to invest in energy efficiency measures to achieve long-term savings, okay, which is somehow connected. And last one, they want to become more aware of the importance of energy efficiency to meet the regulatory compliance requirements. Regarding the evidences we had from the energy scans we performed in this area, the energy scan tool was really highly appreciated because it was able to provide a detailed and customized report developed through an on-site visits and discussion with the company managers. So the tool has been really highly appreciated because it is very simple, very fast, and it is able to give an overview of the, let me say, the energy situation of the SMEs. The energy scan is considered a useful tool to be adopted in particular by the trusted partner as a first level for energy efficiency. The energy scan is a key tool also to keep SMEs motivated through the project. And the interest of SMEs to participate in renewable energy communities as a collective measure proposed in the energy scans. So, nevertheless, on the other hand, some criticalities arose during the energy scans activity. In particular during the follow-up activity of energy scans. So the measures with longer payback periods or more detailed feasibility studies are difficult to implement. Currently, there are no incentives for carrying out an in-depth energy audit. That is another critical point. And white certificates are only justified for intervention with very high investments. Here, I reported only basically two main results we obtained for one of the SMEs we analyzed during our energy scan activity. And here we can see the importance of sharing energy, in this case, by means of the energy community approach, which is actually a very active, let me say, topic of interest in Italy in these months. Here we can see that in terms of net present value of the investment for different sizes of photovoltaic production, the implementation of the energy community, that is the picture, that is 75% of energy shared, which is reported in the picture on the left. Here you can see that basically the payback period can be significantly reduced, particularly from about 15 to 9 to 10 years, when the energy community is implemented. And this is actually very interesting for SMEs, in particular in that area, because a lot of them have a very large roof where photovoltaic can be implemented. from so pros and cons of the stakeholder with respect to the trusted partner. As pros, we can highlight high motivation and involvement, contact and communication activities for SMEs, survey of interest in the project, organizational support for promotional events. Regarding the cons, we I think that it is important to highlight that some of them complained about lack of time and financial resources to engage SMEs and carry out networking activities, lack of project applications tools at an early stage, because at the beginning the advantages of GEAR at SMEs methodology were not clear due to the lack of specific tools. And sometimes regarding the trusted partner, we also recorded the lack of technical skills by the trusted partners. So during the activity, we learned some lessons. So lesson 1, for example, involving more SMEs by broadening the focus beyond energy efficiency. Lesson 2, multiple concrete support activities to meet the needs of SMEs, in particular energy scans adapted to SMEs type and size, because of course different sizes of SMEs imply a different approach in terms of energy scans. Data processing carried out with ad hoc worksheets and preliminary analysis of energy efficiency measures with main technical economical indicators, which actually are very important for SMEs. Regarding the third lesson, the trusted partner need financial resources to successfully implement the collective approach. This is a criticality, a critical point. Indeed, the project partners implemented the energy scans due to the lack of resources in terms of time, human and financial and technical expertise by the trusted partner. Lesson number 4 regards regards the communication. In particular, the project partners relied on the trusted partners and on the multiplier organization to communicate project activities because of their better knowledge of SMEs in order to reach them more effectively. And the trusted partner activities and the responsibilities must be adapted to the context. Indeed, the collective approach, innovative concept compared to the state of the art of energy management in SMEs. In this view, a significant paradigm shift is required. Business parks are not widely developed, and the GEAR SMEs methodology is flexible with respect to the roles and activities of the various actors and adapts to different contexts and situations. Regarding the 2 shopping centers for the collective approach, an idea can be to involve more the participants of the shops, and the manager of the shopping center can act as a trusted partner. So as a summary of the main lessons learned, as a success, we can highlight that the on-site visit at the 9 SMEs to identify specific energy saving measures, and as SMEs are very open to tell the story and specific energy needs. 2 networks of SMEs have been identified and are quite active, and some activities were carried out together jointly to involve more SMEs, to involve also other SMEs, and to do other energy scans. As difficulties, the follow-up is always a critical point once the energy scans is over. Regarding the approach, a paradigm shift is needed, and it is important not to overload the SMEs. In particular, it has also been observed regarding this point that a collaboration with other projects which are working in that area can maximize the success of the event and the initiatives. Thank you very much for your attention. Of course, I'm here for any questions regarding my presentation.
Many thanks, Mattia, for this very interesting experiences you have had in the Italian use case. We have a few more minutes, but I hope the participants have found the webinar interesting. We've tried to give you a sort of general introduction to the GEAR SME methodology, with the role of the trusted partner, the important role of the trusted partner in terms of bringing SMEs collectively together to develop energy efficiency, renewable energy savings measures, and we've tried to give you some ideas about, you know, how have we our experiences with using training materials, engaging with the energy service suppliers, energy scans, etc. So I'm hoping that there are some questions from the audience. It's always interesting to hear from them some feedback also. Anna, can you see if there are any questions in the chat?
Until now, we have no questions. If you have questions, you can lift your hand or write your question in the chat.
And if there are no questions from the audience, maybe I could pose one question to Ingrid. Sometimes it can be a little bit confusing to understand the difference between a collective approach and collective energy projects. Do you think you could maybe briefly just clarify the difference between the two?
Well, yes, the collective energy projects are the concrete projects that we have had some examples of, especially they were from the Dutch use case that they are planning, and also from Mattia comparing these for the solar panels, that there are several SMEs that together, with the help of trusted partners and others, are planning and implement projects in which they have like really financial interests, like financing a solar panel implementation or application, or sharing heat between two or several SMEs within the area. So these are the collective energy projects. The collective approach is a more broader concept that involves all of the different types of activities, also having a more of a looser network and sharing information, and that it can be very different aspects of working together in different ways, sharing knowledge or interest, and also collective approach or collective projects. So the energy collective approach is a broader, that includes all these different types of activities that I listed, and could be also other aspects. Yeah.
Okay.
I hope that was a bit clearer or a bit more. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for that, Ingrid. I think in view of the time, we have 2 more minutes left. I would like to use the opportunity to advertise the fact that we are going to have a final conference in Brussels on the 31st of March, and I am trying to share my screen. Are you able to see one slide showing the program of the final conference? Yes? Okay. So as mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we are heading towards the end of the GEAR SME project. We will end on the 30th of April. We will have a final conference where we will also present some policy recommendations, as well as a panel discussion on what is the best way forward in terms of supporting a collective approach in energy saving measures amongst SMEs. And here you can see the agenda, and you can also visit our GEAR SME website and register for the event. We would be very happy to have you join us and participate in the discussions and to hear your questions. So I see we've just hit 11 o'clock. So that means that our webinar is over. I hope you have found it interesting. I would like to thank all the speakers and also to Anna, who has technically been responsible for arranging the webinar. And I wish you all a pleasant day. If you have any questions, please do reach out to us. And Anna, please correct me if I'm wrong, the presentations will be made available on the GEAR SME website.
Yes, and we will also post the video of this webinar.
Very good, thanks. So thank you very much, everyone. And I'm wishing you all a pleasant afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.